And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio at the moment, he's allowed to give his boss a hard time at the moment because Lieutenant James Mason joining us in studio beats his boss, the sheriff, in this morning. Morning, LT.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Good.
Sheriff, I think he's on his way. He'll be here in a minute. But first off, it's been kind of a busy week for law enforcement here in Chaves County. I know, and I think more of this is probably an RPD crime thing, but it's all over. And I think the sheriff's talked about it a couple times on his Facebook. But the tragedy at Cahoon Park, I think they now they got a suspect, and they're out looking for someone right now. Is that the latest you've heard?
That's the last I heard on it. Yes, sir.
So be on the lookout. I know we shared on our social media. I know the sheriff's department, Roswell Police Department, all have shared about this case. But now that they've got some people in custody, and there's at least one that they're looking for, and I think there's another person of interest out there. They've got an eyeball on as well too. All right, we told your LT he could give you a hard time since he beat you here, Sheriff.
he had better always beat you there.
He's like, that's your job to beat you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Morning, Sheriff. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing real well.
Good deal. We just started, but we were just kind of talking a little bit about the tragedy at Cahoon Park there. I know that's more RPD running that investigation.
Yeah, but it's all of us. We're all involved.
Absolutely.
And the reason I say that is because once everything kicks off and we start to go after these individuals, it's everybody.
Sure. And I'm curious what you guys, because we were just a couple of us were making this comment the other day, and this week's just been a weird week. Like the vibe around, like that tragedy has affected a lot here, and like you drive around, especially certain parts of town, and it feels like we're in mourning a little bit. I mean, do you guys notice that on the beat where it's just like the mood of the place seemed a little bit somber, a little different the last couple of days?
We've lost 4 kids this within the month.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
And so it's anytime that it's a child involved, it is a very somber thing, and so for us, it's something that we've got to just send a message and let you know what, you may do it, but we're going to get you.
It was just an experience. I mean, and we've seen tragedies, things, but just this week, it was the first time I ever rode around town, and I'm like, man, it just feels different. Like people are just not happy, and just kind of you're seeing people act a little more irrational and things, and I think a lot of it's just been a rough week here. I mean, it's been a rough couple of years, but this last week I think frayed some people, and obviously when you see young people like this losing their lives so unnecessarily, it's just frustrating.
It is. It's hard on a community.
Yeah.
So we did. We led the funeral procession yesterday.
Yeah, I did see online some of the long processions of vehicles and things.
Amazing how many people showed up for that and showed their support for the family. That's what that's all about. More than anything else, it's to show the family that this community does grieve the loss of a child, and we'll be doing another one on Saturday. The same, so
we got to stop doing these. We don't need any more of these.
Oh yeah, exactly. And we went to 2 funerals yesterday, and both of them very just sad events. Because in the first one was just life. Heart attack and things, but it just goes to show you how fast you can be gone.
At any given moment, you don't know how many you got left.
So you better be out there and doing everything you can to do your best every day, and love on those who love you. And so it was our pleasure to do that.
Maybe it's a reminder too to just be a little nicer to each other out there. You know what I mean? It's like
I'll tell you that is the ultimate goal. But what we've seen, and I'll tell you, just in my 26 years of doing this job, one thing that I have seen is not only have we gone through some crazy times with COVID and everything else, but when it starts to get hot, people get angry.
Sure.
If
you're uncomfortable, you get shorter attention spans, shorter patience levels, and then you start doing dumb things. And then you compile with all the other stuff. It's probably a recipe for
that, and they come outside. They're out and about more. They're doing things, and we're more than likely going to see an increase in juvenile party arrests and things like that, because now it's nice to be outside. Mm-hmm. And my message to them is, you're doing that, we're coming. We're going to come get you.
Yeah.
And we're going to, by making multiple arrests at these juvenile parties or parties where things are getting out of control, I believe that we can prevent a lot of other felonies from occurring.
Absolutely. So, I know, just stay in the same vein here, but changing gears just a bit. I know recreational marijuana, even though legal in the state, I don't know if there's anybody in Roswell even allowed to sell it yet. I don't think there is. Have you seen any difference in traffic stops or anything related to that kind of yet, or are we still a little early to know what impact that's going to have?
So
go ahead.
So we've got a good DWI officer out there, and he is definitely hitting on everything.
Yeah.
And he's doing it. We're out there full force with that.
I didn't know if they were seeing an uptick in numbers of people that are suspected of it or anything.
What you are seeing is not, marijuana and driving has always been there. Mm-hmm. Now they're more bold about having it visible in the car because it's legal.
You open more windows and you're smelling it more now.
And what they don't, what the message is marijuana may be legal to do at your house or whatever, but you still cannot do it in your car. You cannot do it in public. You cannot do it. It is. It's not just like public intoxication.
Sure. Well, if you're in a car, you're in charge. That means you're in control of that vehicle.
Absolutely.
Right.
If you're smoking a joint sitting in the driver's seat, that's no different than you drinking a bottle of beer or whiskey in the driver's seat.
It still impairs you.
Yeah, so, it's the same thing.
So we're seeing it more visible. They're not hiding it or eating it when we walk up to the car, So it
well,
goes
that's good. They're not trying to
ingest
10 pounds of pot in 2 seconds.
But, so the reality is we're seeing more of it. But I believe that the marijuana and driving has been an issue for quite a while.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think where the biggest issue is with the marijuana becoming legal for social stuff is it's easier to access by kids. So we're seeing more of it in school.
Sure.
And kids are taking it and they're doing things. And so we're seeing a lot more of marijuana, but not really an increase in the DWIs from marijuana yet.
Right. So, and I'm guessing, like you said, marijuana is legal now. But if an officer pulls you over and you roll down the window and it reeks of weed, they're going to do a sobriety test on you.
Absolutely.
Regardless if you're, whether you're just transporting a weed or, if you do it all the time, everything just smells like weed a little.
There's different smells too. I mean, if you have it burnt marijuana, you're going to smell it, and you're going to smell it coming out of the vehicle.
Right. Gotcha. And the thing about marijuana, there is no minimum level or maximum level. If we smell it and you're showing signs of impairment,
it's not like drinking.
It's not like drinking where you got to be at a certain level in
you're either high or not high.
That's right. And the use of it, while driving, just the use of it impairs you. And so right now that's the way it works. So you're going to be arrested for marijuana DWI.
Gotcha.
So. And so that's where driving while under the influence is.
And there's tests that you guys can tell whether someone is actively under the influence versus they smoked it in the last 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
There's,
the thing is,
the testing is something that, like I said, it's been around for a long time. We've got a DWI officer right now. Plus, the guys are all trained on this. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, the guy that we have as our DWI officer right now, he takes this very serious. He is out there working hard every day, and I'll tell you, that guy can spot a drunk driver so it's amazing. It's amazing.
He's got the knack for.
Sure does.
You know, some people are good at like, well, I can tell when something.
Yeah.
And that's his
deal.
superpower.
He's definitely got a passion for it.
Sure.
I mean, you can definitely tell he's hit the ground hard.
I'm not trying to get personal, but does he have like personal family history with drunk driving or something?
That I'm
maybe?
not sure of.
Okay, because sometimes they get
do.
passionate.
Yes.
And you're like, they're passionate because they personally experienced it. Yeah.
Well, and even with me when I did DWI, that was the same thing.
Yeah.
I had a partner riding with me, and we stopped at DWI that ran his family off the road. We learned the next day. So you build that. You build that.
You do. Well, it's
immediate results.
It's human nature.
You know, it's one of probably the more satisfying parts of this job because you know you just took somebody off the road.
You actively saved a life.
Absolutely.
Whether it was an hour from now or tomorrow, you did it.
And you know, and the one thing that we know as policemen and law enforcement and all across the board, you can never prove what you prevented. But you know by taking that drunk driver off the road that you may have prevented it, but you don't know if he could have made it home okay or not.
Sure.
But what we do know is through statistics and also through our own experience that one time of them not making it home and killing themselves or killing somebody else really hit you.
For every successful time they do that, it emboldens them to do it again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And they're going to keep doing it until they kill themselves or somebody.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like when we talk about addicts of drugs and things, a lot of times they're not going to get sober until they hit a bottom. Right. Something's got to happen in their life to physically tell their brain, I need to do something different.
Yep.
And unfortunately, driving under the influence, it's kind of the same, oh, it's fine, I'm good, I'm not that person. And then it happens to them, and then they learn the hard way, wrong, that, it is you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and statistically, it's astronomical. You'd be blown away. It's out there.
Yeah. And it's different where, like when we were kids, there wasn't education. There wasn't, I don't even know if it was illegal, depending on where you were. Well, but we've learned a lot, and so I can see where like older folks are kind of. I mean, not nowadays because there's so much out there, but back then, there wasn't it was just people living lives and like I'm gonna. Right. But now there's no excuse for a person in this country to not understand the dangers of driving under the influence.
Well, and the days we used to have open containers. Mm-hmm. I mean, it used to not be a deal.
Yeah.
And, the legislation's changed it and made it better.
For the better.
Absolutely.
And one of the things, and like I said, it's crazy how much things have changed in such a short time. And the reason I'm going to say a short time is because I don't want to say how old I am. But when we were all in school and we were kids, the number of people on the road was smaller.
Mm-hmm.
The number of vehicles out and about was really a lot different. Mm-hmm. If you remember here in Roswell, you'd go down Main Street at 10 o'clock, every light was flashing yellow. There wasn't even as many lights as there are now.
Even the street lights went home.
Yeah, and they used to say, 9 o'clock, they roll this town up and everybody goes to bed. That's how it used to be.
Yeah.
So when you would go and you would do these things, you didn't have the crashes. Now, we did have people killed and you did have DWIs and stuff,
sure.
but
it was mostly to themselves.
But
because
it was.
It wasn't multi-car because it was 2 a.m. and they're the ones out there.
And now we have a population just here in Chaves County that is more than what the census says. You already know that. But you go down this road at any time, day or night, it is packed.
Yeah.
And to get around whenever you are impaired and you're moving, your brain is not communicating as fast with the rest of your body, you're going to hit somebody, and there's a chance you're going to kill somebody or yourself.
Especially on that main street where you got people that are doing all kinds of different speeds. You got people doing under the speed limit. You got people doing 10 over, and they're in the left lane and in the right lane. So there's a lot of people weaving in and out, passing and everything. And that's at any time of the day.
That's right.
And so you add that level of complexity, and then you're impaired. Yeah.
Right.
Odds are pretty good. You either you're going to hit something or you're going to cut somebody off or do something else and cause somebody else to do something dumb.
Well, the cars are faster, lighter, and there again, he said texting. Texting it's divided attention.
Sure.
And you can't do it.
And how many times do you see people cut corners, turning, and they cross the yellow lines and things instead of staying in their lane, and those cause accidents when you try to cut short and do those little things.
You know, I'll tell you, the law says that you are to cross the street at an intersection where the crosswalks are. That is what, to me, is one of the most dangerous places to cross the street. And the reason is because the arrows are coming up. All these things are happening. Cars are trying to come around the corners. I mean, and they're going across that crosswalk. I watch right here at 2nd and Main Street, and I'm thinking, my gosh, someone's going to get run over here in a minute.
Especially the side street people that need to pay attention that even though you have a green light, so does the person walking across the thing you do.
Yeah.
So by law, you have to wait until they cross, and then it's free.
Right.
They have the right of way. You have the secondary right of way.
That's right.
Because of the green. Even if it's a green arrow, they've got the walking duty.
They sure do.
That's their right to walk.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is when you're in the car, two things. They're not staring up to see if that little man is white or red. Two, they're not seeing if this is here. They're just trying to zip around that corner, and that's whenever you'll see so many close calls that it's just dangerous to be out on the road. And so when you add alcohol or drugs to that, even if you're not impaired, for where you feel like you can't drive, just somebody else hitting you, now you're about to go through a whole process. Right. Of being tested yourself because you have the smell.
Sure, you've got the indications of impairment.
You've got the indications of it as well. So some people think, I'm just going to sneak home. I only live 2 blocks away. Man, I want to tell you, that's where all accidents happen.
I think I remember in some stat that most people get in an accident within like 5 miles of their home.
That's
or something like that. Yeah,
and that's the whole city of Roswell.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So we have these things going on, but I will tell you, James. Gets these DWIs together. He has been purchasing equipment for these deputies, as well as organizing, like I said, the roadblocks, the SAP patrols, and probably one of the most impressive things on that is being able to motivate guys who are working long hours already
to commit to the
extra time. So he's doing a great job on that, and we really do. There's haters out there, and you're going to see. Every time we put anything about a roadblock out there, there's people that will come on and that's unconstitutional. That's against the law. No, it's not.
Right.
That's already been tested and proven that this is an enforcement action that normally you don't catch a DWI at the roadblock, but it lets people know that we're out looking, and we're going to catch you at some point.
It does. It's kind of like we're in your school.
Yeah.
Teacher's in the room, the kids behave better. When the teacher walks out, they they behave less. It's human nature. It's what we do.
Exactly.
If you're not, that's why we talk about integrity. It's why it's so important. And why is that important? Because if it's easy to do the right thing when everyone's watching you.
Right. That's right.
Is it easy to do the right thing when no one's watching? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, and our DWIs checkpoints have been really successful the last few we've ran.
Yeah.
Both of them, we've ended up arresting DWI on each one. We got a driving while suspended revoked on the last one.
Good deal.
And
have you ever? I imagine every once in a while you catch some hardened criminals because they come through and it turns out they had a warrant for something more serious or nefarious, and so you're getting those people off the street too. So it's a win-win for everyone. And here's the thing, folks: if you're not impaired and you don't have an active warrant, you're going to go through that checkpoint without any issues.
Absolutely.
They're going to be like, have a nice night, enjoy your weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you go in there and you're shady or you're impaired or you're a felon, then guess what? They're going to pick you up and they're going to take you to justice. That's what their job is, and that's what they're there to do.
And speaking on that note, I have guys out there that are just guys and ladies that are out there that are truly dedicated to bringing you to justice.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They are working hard every day. They're so dedicated to this job. And this is one of the things that I tell people across this whole state and actually this whole country. We're one of the lower paid, Chaves County is one of the lowest paid sheriff's offices in the state. But I still get people to come to work. And one of the things that we know is because whenever your passion is there and your desire to make a difference, money doesn't always make the.
And I think your work environment comes into that.
It really does.
And let's face it.
And this community loves us.
If you're a good law enforcement officer, you could probably write your own ticket.
Yeah,
you can go anywhere in the country, and any department would love to have you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to say, like you said, okay, there's people that can offer better technically benefits than what I can.
Yep.
But that speaks volumes. Saying no, I like the work environment here.
That's
I like the people involved. I like the community. I like the neighborhoods. I like everything about it. I want to be here and call home, and the money will take care of itself as I get better at my job.
Yeah, and like you said, and you hit it right on the head. This is their home.
Yeah.
Whenever you are born and raised here, or you're from this area for a long period of time, your goal is to make this a better place. Mm-hmm. And our ultimate goal is to make it a better place even after we're gone. It continues to stay that way. So we train and we're doing lots of stuff. But we have such a dedicated group of people that really want to work and make Chaves County a better place. And I'm talking about Dexter, Hagerman, Lake Arthur, all of them down there.
Sure.
Roswell Police Department, the state police, they're just not paid, but it's not about that. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I just feel really blessed to have kept people, because you go to any other state around us or some of these bigger counties, they're paying crazy money.
Sure.
And we're just lucky,
But you say that, but then I think right now, and I'm thinking, okay, if I'm a police officer, and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, Albuquerque Police Department's going to offer me X, Chaves County Sheriff Department's going to offer me X. Wait a minute. What do I see every day and what's going on? Do I want to do that day in and day out, or I'd rather work in a place where, sure, we got crime, we got things, but I don't know. I just, you look in the news and you're like, are they supporting the officers there? And I get change and all that, but at the end of the day, are they going to bat for their guys? Right. And I don't know if that's going on there sometimes.
I'll tell you,
there's some that are.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you right now, we have a county commission that supports us. A county manager that is just fantastic to the employees there at the sheriff's office, but the county commission has been really good to us.
Yeah,
and they understand where we're at, and so, but we also have to look at, we're not an oil county.
Yeah,
we don't have that.
We're a jack of all trades. Yeah. We got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we're
more agriculture.
We base everything on agriculture and property tax. So if you don't want your property tax to go up, we're not going to make more money. And so it's a catch-22 either way.
Sure.
So they're trying to do what's right. But I really do believe that the people that we have are here for the long haul.
Sure.
Because they want to do this job. And so we really are blessed here in Chaves County both ways.
Sure.
We have great police officers, and we have a community that supports them.
Well, and I imagine that, you look at the commission and when they're talking budgets and balancing and all that,
we're in that right
in the middle of that. But yeah, and so the rub, I'm guessing, in the world of law enforcement is, how much, where we invest that money. Do we want to invest in salaries, or do we want to invest it in the equipment, the tools that the officers need? And so there's that balance, because they want to give you guys the best equipment available to do your jobs. But at the same time, it's not free. This stuff isn't money. So, every time a new cop car comes out, I'm guessing that's six figures right there. Every time a new police car gets put out there, it's not cheap. And so I'm guessing it's like, okay, we want to pay deputies more, but at the same time, we got to have them they got to have they got to have the cars, they got to have the gear, they got to have the equipment. And so that's probably the catch-22 that they deal with every time when they talk budgets and things like that.
Well, it's just like you being a parent. You want to get the best for your kids, but you can only go with what you make.
Exactly.
And so, you want to buy the best bike, but hey, can we get something else that still gets them around?
Sure.
And but that's how it is. And so, but I will say is it hasn't deterred these deputies from going out and giving 100% every day. And one of the things that we, as the administration at the sheriff's office, as well as the sergeants, and we have an understanding that when you took on this job, the one thing that everybody said wasn't, I want to make a lot of money, I want to do this. It's, I want to serve people.
Yeah.
I want to make a difference. So we're going to hold you to that. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
So we're good with that. But I will tell you, the moment that you don't do that, you won't be a part of this.
Sure. And I want to remind, since we're talking about this, and man, I just saw the time, but
Seemed like I just got here.
I know. but it's, and Sheriff, we've said this almost every time we come on the radio. These guys can't do their job without that cooperation of the public.
That's right.
That's why that relationship's got to be. So, and that's why you and your deputies and RPD, law enforcement, they go out of their way to do this, to make sure that you that's why you see the officers hanging out at the various events, parties.
Yeah.
They're not there just doing security. They're there to make sure that,
the people know you.
And go talk to them, ask, and shoot the bull with them for a little bit. You'll be amazed at how much you'll find out and talk to them. Now, obviously, if they're in the middle of doing their job, you leave them alone. But if they're just there, talk to them. Help. That relationship is so important. And I know, like we just had the folks from the RPD talking Neighborhood Watch a week or two ago. And,
we're in that.
That connection is so important, because if you don't like things going on in your neighborhood, the best people that know that are you. And the cops can't do anything about it without the information, without the knowledge to take care of that. And as soon as you give them the info, they can act upon it and do all that. And that's how police officers are able to do their work. And so it is so important that we as a public work with these officers, treat them like your neighbors. Because that's how they want to treat you. And that's how we want to do it. And then, of course, obviously, when it's time to strap up and take care of business, that's what they're going to do. But in the meantime, they want to be friendly. They want it to, because people sitting around talking and just having a good time, not a lot of crimes going on when that kind of stuff's happening.
Well, and it's one thing that I will say, and here just this week, CASA had an event where they were out at the Wool Bowl, and they had all these people come together, and they had like a welcoming the public and doing all this stuff. It's a public event. So we were out there for that, and so it's good to see that when you do this job, and I'll tell everybody, I go out there and I want to meet you and visit with you and be a part of this community. So do my deputies. But whenever it comes time, if you do something wrong, you're going to see us. We're going to come see you. That's just the way it is.
People have a bigger conscience when you know the people and and you have a relationship with them. Makes it a little harder for them to commit, bad things on people And that's all part of that too. It's like if people are talking with the law enforcement and they're like, that guy's a pretty straight talking dude. I mean, he's fair. I've dealt with him in the past, or I've dealt with that officer. She was very good. That's the relationship they have, because at the end of the day, there might be one day where you arrest them, and the next day you're saving their bacon, and that happens quite often in that world.
Or if you do have to arrest them, it's a lot easier. They understand that you're there for them through the good and the bad, and we really do see that here in Chaves County where. They just know that if you're having hard times or you're going through things, we'll be there. If you're having a good time, we're going to be there. And one thing that people say is that your job as the sheriff is to be at all these events? Absolutely it is. Right. Because I serve the people.
Sure.
And the only boss I have is the people.
The voters. Man.
Yep, and it's not even the voters. It's every person.
That's true. The ones who voted for you, not voted for you. That's
right.
True.
It's every person.
Yeah.
And so I don't care about anything about your race, your religion, I don't care about any of that. I just want you to be safe and make Chaves County a better place. And I'm going to help you do that. That means if I have to be at your events and just show that I do support what you're doing, and it also supports us. And then again, if you're doing something wrong, we're going to come get you, and we're going to let you know right away, immediately. No, it's not a good thing. Don't do that again.
And to be honest, you guys are pretty. It's like a lot of things in life. the respect you put out, you're going to get back.
Yep.
And if you're, we all goof up or do something and things, but if you're, truly, I mean, obviously the degree on how you screwed up will impact this, but if it's something kind of minor or whatever that technically you could be arrested for, if you're cool and all, like, cops are like, just don't do that again. But that's the relationship. It's all about. But if you're a jerk and you're escalating it and start making threats, guess what? You're going to jail, and you might get a few other charges, by the way, because anytime you start talking back or resisting, those are more charges that you're going to be acquiring when you go to court.
I tell them, you're just adding more to your books.
Well, and real quick before I know we're running out of time. Speaking of community events, we will have officers out there for the high school events that are coming up.
Oh, good. Graduations and
so we're going to do
and what
some
have
extra patrols when those problems arise.
Good.
So,
and always remember, if you get lost, if you got an issue, the people in uniform are your friend.
Right.
Absolutely.
Go up to them. That's what they're there to help you do.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Very good. Of course, as always, want to tell people to follow the Chaves County Sheriff's Department on Facebook
page.
Great way to stay up to date on anything the Sheriff's Department puts out as far as your bolos or just good information or any of that kind of stuff. You'll find it through the Sheriff's Department. And and of course, don't hesitate. If you've got any, don't hesitate to call law enforcement. Rather have you call, come out, it's no big deal.
Right.
Versus you saying and look the other way and turns out it's a big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for keeping us safe. Appreciate you.
it.
Have a safe weekend, and we'll see you next time.
That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.